Hi, and welcome to At Home with Anita Rosner. If you were here with me last week, you know that we got crafty by making a magnolia wreath. So today we're back in the kitchen, but we're still going to be crafty because we are making a Buche de Noel, which is a fancy way of saying Yule Log Cake. No matter what you call it, no matter how you slice it, it's going to be delicious. Now, I'm not going to lie to you, there's a lot of steps to making this cake, and I have never made one before, so we're going to be learning together. I will tell you, however, that we're not going to do anything that really requires any advanced amount of skill. So we're going to do this together. It's going to be great. Don't be nervous. Let's get started. In order to simplify this, I am using just a regular boxed yellow cake mix. I'm going to put the full recipe down in the description, but just follow along with me because if I list all of the ingredients, I'm afraid you might abandon me. And I want you to make this. This is why I'm going to try to simplify it. And if you do make it, I want you to tag me on Instagram or Facha Libre so I can see what you've done. Anyway, here's our dry cake mix. You're going to make the cake exactly to the package directions with two changes. To the dry ingredients, I'm adding a spice blend of ginger, cinnamon, and ground cloves. So that's the first variation on the cake box recipe. Now, the directions say to add water and oil, the eggs, and we're going to add a 1/4 cup of molasses. I just realized I didn't tell you anything about the flavors. Okay. Normally, a Buche de Noel is a chocolate cake with a vanilla cream frosting. And yes, it looks Christmassy because it looks like a Yule log, but the flavors do not say Christmas at all. This cake is not just going to say Christmas, it's going to scream it from the mountaintops because I'm making a gingerbread cake with a cinnamon cream frosting. Because I can. Let's mix it up. I'm mildly concerned because it looks watery, which could have to do with the addition of the molasses, but we're not going to sweat it. Okay. Now I have a sheet pan lined with parchment, which is very important. Do not skip that part. And I'm going to spray it with a baking spray that also has flour in it. All right. We're just going to pour this in here. Now, obviously, you're not going to bake this as long as you would if it were, say, in a regular cake pan. So I'm going to start it at 15 minutes and keep checking it until it's done in the center. While the cake is in the oven, we have to get ready for the next step, which is really the only part of this enterprise where things could really go sideways. You need a wire rack the size of your pan, and you need a clean kitchen towel. I would suggest using something that's smooth. This is a sackcloth towel. You could use a linen towel. And we're just going to lightly sprinkle it with powdered sugar. Because what's going to happen is we are going to roll it. I'm a little nervous. Okay, here we go. I'm not entirely confident about this. And I'm kind of thinking what I want to do is put the rack on top first. This is probably wrong, but it's what we're going to do. So I'm going to do this. And I'm going to do this. All right, that was the easy part. Now, we're going to roll it, and I'm going to leave the paper on because I don't trust that it's not going to stick to itself. It's really hot. All right, and we're not going to roll it too tightly. It's going well. Look at that. Pretty proud of myself right now. We did it. Now, this has to cool for 1 hour. While our cake is cooling, let's start the second component of our cake, the cinnamon buttercream. There are 4 components altogether. I know, but you stuck with me so far. Don't bail on me now. Alrighty, in the bowl I have 3 cups of powdered sugar, and I have a cup of butter that's softened and cut into chunks. Add this to the bowl. We're going to cream this using a whisk attachment until it is fluffy and soft, but start out slowly, or you're going to have a great big powdered sugar cloud in your kitchen. And now we'll add a teaspoon of vanilla. I'm using vanilla paste. You can use vanilla extract, that's totally fine. Now here I have 2 tablespoons of heavy cream. I'm going to add a little at a time until I get to the consistency that I want. Yeah, that's good. Now I'm going to take about half a cup of this and set it aside. Not even, maybe a quarter cup. Yeah, just a little bit for decorating. I'm going to add some food coloring to that. And now I'm going to add cinnamon to this. How much cinnamon? I'm just going to sprinkle it across the top of the frosting, like so. And that should be fabulous. Now that our delicious cinnamon buttercream is ready, we are going to start on our ganache. Yes, there's ganache involved. We are going to frost the entire log with ganache. And so I'm going to show you how to make it. You're learning how to make all kinds of things today. This is 82% chocolate. Check the label. Sugar should be listed because it's got to be a little sweet. So we're just going to chop this up. I have 9 ounces here. You want to chop it pretty fine because the way ganache is made is you heat cream and pour it over and let it sit for 10 minutes until the chocolate melts. So if you have big chunks in there, it's not going to melt well. All right, this looks pretty good. Just want you to see. Okay. While I finish chopping this up, I'm going to let the cream start warming on the stove. So ganache is made with equal parts chocolate to heavy cream. So we had 9 ounces of chocolate. We need 9 ounces of cream. We're just warming the cream until it starts to bubble a little bit around the sides. You do not want to boil it. If you do, you've got to start over. All right, you see how it's starting to bubble along the edge? That means it's ready. Shut the heat off. Pour it over your chocolate. Do not stir it. We're just going to let this sit for 10 minutes. No touching. After our chocolate and cream has rested for 10 minutes, we'll just whisk it. And there is your ganache. Ooh, yeah. Amazing. It's the moment we've all been waiting for. We have our cake, our ganache, our cinnamon buttercream, and some raspberry jam. You want the jam to be loose, like that. If it's a little tight, just microwave it for 10 seconds. Here goes. We're gonna unroll. Yes. Take off the parchment. It cracked a little bit, but that's okay. That's okay. Gently going to spread this on. You don't want it too thick because then it will be too sweet, because there is such a thing as a too sweet treat. So I'm just adding a pretty thin layer of this. And I think we want to leave about 1/2 inch on the sides. All right, the buttercream is on. Now we're just going to add a thin layer of the jam, because if you've ever had gingerbread with raspberry jam, you know what I'm talking about. With the chocolate ganache, forget it. All right. Now take a deep breath, because we're going to roll her up again. Come on. Yes. Oh, it's breaking. Oh no. Oh, it's fine. There she blows. I'm going to put this straight on the serving plate, because I think if we move this around too much, we're asking for trouble. And now we will add our ganache, which will conceal the cracks. You want to leave spatula strokes because it's supposed to look like bark. So you actually, if you don't have any spatula strokes on there, you need to create some. You can also do it with a fork to make the bark look finer and more striated. All right. We're not done yet. You're going to cut it. And then take this and put it like that. So it looks like the tree has been cut. Just press it in. Now we'll do one on the other side. So now you have a nice clean cut on the side of the cake. And now we just fill in those little seams with more ganache. Now we got to tidy up, and then we'll decorate it. I tidied up the serving platter. Now we're going to decorate. And the ganache will set. You know, it will firm up as it sits. I made some little meringue mushrooms to go with this. Maybe I'll do a video on those one of these days. Let's just put a couple of leaves here, I think. Put some mushrooms around. And here we have our Buche de Noel, our very own Yule log. I'm just gonna say it. For a first time attempt, I don't think it looks half bad. I'm pretty proud of it. And I hope you'll try it. Please tag me if you make it. I want to see what you've done. Good job. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up. Become a subscriber and leave me a comment. I would love to hear from you. Thanks for watching.